TP, we're back.
We are back.
And this was meant to be recorded. We don't need to talk about the reason why if you don't want to, but was supposed to be recorded at 4 a.m. the other day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this because I mentioned this on my stream, so I'm going to kind of clear up. This isn't being recorded at 4 a.m. because something came up. TP, I don't know if you want to talk about that. You don't have to if you don't want to. But
I don't want to get into it.
All right, then we won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was supposed to be recorded at 4 a.m., but something came up. So I stayed up till 5 a.m. on Friday for no reason. But
Yeah, sorry about that.
oh well, it's fine.
I felt really, really bad because you also mentioned that was the week you got your sleep schedule on track.
Yeah, I'll probably be fine.
Hopefully.
One day of staying up super late doesn't really affect it, but then again, it might. I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
But
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But the funny thing is, the way I got my sleep schedule back on track was I think it was it was Tuesday night. I just couldn't fall asleep at all. So I just laid in my bed all night. Didn't fall asleep at all, but I just stayed up till like 8:30 and then I just got up and went about my day. I didn't fall asleep and I didn't feel tired throughout the day. I didn't feel like I had stayed up all night cuz I didn't get it was like a mental thing of I was in my bed, I slept.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got up and I did everything I normally would in the morning. So yeah. I did take like short like 5-10 minute naps, like 2 throughout the day, but other than that, I then went to bed at like 10:30 and then my sleep schedule for the most part was on track. I think the latest I woke up last week was like 11:30, something like that. And that's all right with me as long as I wake up around that time at least 11:30. So
Yeah. We were technically supposed to record this a few weeks ago, actually, right?
no, I think it was because I wanted. Oh yeah, no wait, no, because we missed a week. That was it. Yeah, we were supposed to record a few weeks ago for last week's episode when we're recording this. So then, yeah, so we missed a week in between the last episode and this one. So I wanted to record last night, or last week, I should say, so then we could get it out on that Sunday or Monday or whatever. But then I don't remember what happened. Something came up and you weren't able to record. I don't remember what.
And I can't either. Oh, I didn't really mention it.
Yeah, but you just mentioned, yeah, I can't do that.
But yeah, how you been? How's the life of Trevor?
I'm doing all right. Getting over being sick. Also, a couple weeks ago, I had a family reunion, I guess you could call it. It feels weird saying that because we never call them that, but like a family get together is like I just went and visited family. That's all I've ever said. We've never called like our family get-togethers family reunions.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess over time I've realized, yeah, I guess those are family reunions. So I guess technically it was a family reunion.
Nice. How was it?
But yeah, it was fun because it was on my mom's side of the family, and I don't see that side of the family very often. And it was also kind of weird because I was the only one of my family, of my mom, dad, and brother, and me, to go because they all were busy last weekend, or not last weekend, the weekend before. They were all busy, and I wasn't, cause I come from a family of hunters. I don't hunt, like deer hunting and all that. Deer and pheasant is mainly what we hunt. But my dad and my brother, they hunt. I don't. But so last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, was my brother's opening deer hunting, and because he's part of the youth one still. I think next year he can do it in like the adult hunting, which is in November. But yeah, so it was opening deer hunting for him. My dad had something going on, and my mom initially did, but then that got canceled, so then she was able to, but she still just stayed home. Um, but yeah, so I had nothing going on, so I don't drive, so I had the idea because one of my aunts went to pick up my other aunt and my uncle because neither of them drive either. Um, and they only live like 45 minutes away from me. So I had the
Mm-hmm.
idea. I was like, what if since I don't have anything going on this weekend, why don't I call them, see if they come pick me up, and then I'm able to go, and then my parents come and pick me up at some point afterwards, and then that ended up working out. So it was nice because it's the longest I had stayed, like visited that side of the family for a weekend. Because the last few couple years, it's been kind of wishy washy. Whenever we'd see them, it'd be like for a day, like a day trip, or like just a night we would stay,
Mm-hmm.
just because of like schedule
Yeah.
stuff. Because it would be like on a weekend when my mom would have to work or something like that. Um, now, as long as we don't have like 8 million things going on, we should be fine. Since my mom now has weekends off because she works at the school. I think I mentioned it before, but she's a lunch lady.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but yeah, so it was nice to see that side of the family because I was gone for like I think 5 days. They came and got me on Thursday, and then I came home the following Monday. But yeah, there was a little period though because um on that Monday where I didn't know if I was gonna go home Monday or Tuesday because my brother he had a football game. So initially, that we like me, my aunts, and my uncle, we were gonna go there, and they were gonna drop me off there because it wasn't too terribly far. I think it was like an hour, a little over an hour from where we were at. Um, because I should mention where we were. We were at a lake in Minnesota, so it was like 2 hours from where I live, about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so we were at we stayed in a cabin at the lake. So we were gonna go and we were gonna go to my brother's football game, and they were gonna drop me off there, and then they were gonna go to where my aunt and uncle live and drop them off, and then leave. I think the following day, on Tuesday. But then something came up to where it was just easier for us to go to where my aunt and uncle live, and then my parents come and get me there. Um, but then I got a call from my mom, well, and she was like, because my dad's a volunteer firefighter, and my mom's like, your dad got a fire call. I don't know if we're gonna make it to your brother's game, or or if we're gonna get you today or tomorrow. So I was just like, great. Excuse me. But yeah, I was like, great. Now I don't know if I'm gonna leave today or tomorrow. Just great. It's like it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter because it's like I'll leave when I leave, but and it's like it's not like I really had anything going on because I was on a break from school. Um, but yeah, it's just like I'd like to know when I'm going home, but luckily I got home later that night. But yeah, just like I don't know when I'm going home. This is kind of annoying.
Okay, fair enough. I
But
want
yeah,
to
other
touch
than that, the
up.
weekend was fun.
Okay, good, good. I want to touch up on something you said before.
What's that?
You mentioned you're not really a hunter like the rest of your family.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
It's just never really interested me because it's like I don't shame people for hunting, especially since I'm in the culture of hunting. Like
Mm-hmm.
I come from a hunting family. My some of my cousins hunt. My dad hunts. My grandpa hunts. My one of my aunts hunt. My one of my uncles hunts. It's like a bunch of my family hunts. It's just never been something that interests me. Also, I think part of the reason, and it could just be because I've never handled one. It's also partially because I don't trust myself with a gun. But then again, I've never really held one or shot one. Um, and maybe once I like learned, I would be comfortable, but I don't. Hunting just isn't something that's ever interested me. Like when I was younger, like up until I was like 11, 10 or 11, it was like I was like, yeah, I'll probably hunt because it's like all the
Mm-hmm.
men in my family hunt. It's like all the
Yeah.
men in my family hunt, so I'm like, oh, I'll probably hunt because that's what men do. Um, but then
Mm-hmm.
like I got older to where I could hunt, but then I was like, mm, I started thinking about it. I was like, I don't. It doesn't really interest me as much as I thought it would because it was like this kind of because I've gone hunting. Like I haven't shot anything, but I've gone with like my dad and my grandpa before. Because I think you can be 10 to ride along, and I think you have to be
Mm-hmm.
11 to walk. Um, but yeah. So you're so I'd gone with a couple times, but and after those, I was just kind of like, this isn't as fun as I thought. So it's kind of like, eh, it's just something I probably won't ever do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something in the future will change, and I'll be like, I kind of want to try hunting, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Fair enough. You see, that's the difference between us. If I was in America and the gun laws were like what they are in America, and you could hunt, I'd be
Hmm.
out doing it constantly because that's cool to me.
Can you not hunt in the UK?
I don't believe you can,
Hmm.
and you also you can't have guns.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I guess it's like it wasn't until we started doing the podcast where I started realizing like the differences between our two countries, like the US and the UK. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until then I was like, "Oh yeah, there's very distinct differences. It's not just the same stuff in a different place. It's like there's very distinct differences between the two."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's easy to forget
Very
cuz like
easy.
you'll yeah, and like it's like you'll tell me something and then I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot about that." And I'm sure it's easier for you to remember like the US stuff cuz I'm just assuming, but I'm assuming you consume a lot of US media.
To be
And
honest,
it's
not
like,
that much actually.
really?
Yeah. You mean like YouTubers and stuff like that?
Well, not just that, but like TV shows too. Like maybe this would be different if we were like 10 years older, but
I mean,
like
England
TV
has
shows
their
and
own
stuff.
TV shows.
Well, yeah, I know, but I also know that a lot of US shows get ported over on UK cable too. But
Not really. I mean, there is a few, but I don't know.
yeah. And like I said, I don't know. I'm just a dumb American.
You're not dumb.
I am a straight A college student, so
You are?
I also have only taken easy classes and two
Oh.
very easy classes. That most of the assignments were completion. So
Mm-hmm.
I ended last term with a 95 and a 96 in my two classes I took. So
Interesting. I'm happy
but
for you.
yeah, thanks. But yeah, so far I'm a straight A college student. Haven't taken any generals yet, but
Nice.
straight A student.
Speaking of school, I'm failing college.
Oh, we're on two ends of the spectrum, buddy.
Mm-hmm. It's so stupid as well because I'm really smart, but I'm dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm kind of the same way because it's like I can know a lot about very certain things, like stuff that I'm super interested in. I know a lot about, Metallica being one of them. But I know a lot about I know way more about Metallica than I for one I probably should, but also more than anything I ever learned in like school, like from kindergarten to senior year. I know probably way more about Metallica than I ever learned. I could probably say way more about Metallica than you could mention any subject in from kindergarten to senior year. I could probably say way more about Metallica than like actual education.
I mean, that's because you've got a passion for it, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're interested in it. You want to do that. Well, you don't want to do it, but you're interested in it.
Yeah. It's super weird because like the most obscure things about Metallica will stick in my mind, but then like very important things like I'll hear in like history class or something will just escape my mind immediately. And it's so weird. Like the most obscure thing about Metallica, I'll
Mm-hmm.
hear, and that'll stick in my head, and I'll be like, "Hey, this is this thing. This correlates with this," and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll hear like something about Napoleon Bonaparte or whatever, and then I'll be like, "I don't know."
I mean, yeah, it goes the same for everyone. I think if
Yeah,
I remembered my maths course as well as I did um, abilities in paladins, I'd be a straight A student. But it's just not the same.
yeah, yeah. It all boils down to your interests. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
if there's a class in school that you're super passionate about, then it'll probably stick that same way. But if you're not interested in the class, sort of like me with history, though I am interested with history, but it's just I have a hard time remembering it for some weird reason. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. We don't have much to talk about from the looks of it.
Yeah, I've had a very busy few weeks.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we left off with the last episode. Um, did I did I leave for Poland yet, or did or
I think I don't think so.
okay,
Because I think you had just gotten back from like because the last episode was the first episode back since you had gotten back from your other vacation to
yeah,
Greece or whatever.
yeah, and then I went Poland with Holly
Yeah,
um for 5 days.
how
Then
was that?
that was great. It was actually really fun. Very stressful because there was so much family I needed to go around and see,
Mm-hmm.
and so little time. Kind
Yeah.
of wish we stayed there for a bit longer. Holly really enjoyed Poland. She said she liked it.
Oh yeah.
It was a bit awkward for her because she really couldn't really communicate with anyone.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be weird because as someone who only speaks English and never took any foreign language courses in school, um, it would be very weird going to some other country where there's no well, I'm sure a lot of people in foreign countries now speak English, but where there's where the main language is something different. It'd be very weird.
Yeah, I mean, I was like a Google Translate for the most of the trip. It was kind of tiring, and then we came back, and my grandparents came over for the week
Yeah,
with us. Yeah, and they left earlier today.
nice.
Yeah. Although I'm kind of glad they're gone. As bad as that sounds.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of the way at the end of of my trip as well because it's like I get homesick very easy,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like being gone for more than like six days to a week, because I'm a very kind of like scheduled person. That's why I'm obsessed with getting my sleep schedule on track when it's all fucky, um, but I'm a very um like scheduled person because back last summer, summer 2020, when my dad had COVID in like June, I got my schedule to like a T,
Mm-hmm.
because I would wake up around like 8, I'd
That's very
shower,
good.
yeah, I got it to a T. It was the same thing every single day. But I woke up around like 8, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. I would shower, I'd get out of the shower by like 8:20 or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
put my contacts in. I'd I'd come in, I'd grab an energy drink, sit down at my desk, and then I'd watch a couple of videos, and then I'd start working on whatever video I was working on at the time. But yeah, I got my schedule down to a T, and I loved it.
That's very, very good. I'm proud of you.
It was a weird kind of Groundhog's Day thing, though. I realized after a week of doing the same exact thing of having an energy drink every morning, because I'd come in, grab an energy drink because they were right by the door, and then I'd sit down at my desk and then I'd watch some video, and yeah, it was very weird, because it was like a week and I was like, this is the exact same thing I've done every day for the last week. I don't mind it. It's nice that I'm in this groove, but it's weird.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, anyway, like,
Yeah.
you go ahead.
I wish I had a good sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Even if I try and fix mine, it just goes to donkey. Like,
That's how I am too.
if I feel like the earlier I go to sleep, the more tired I am the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when on Wednesday when I went to bed, cuz normally if I fall asleep around like 10:30, I'll wake up around 1 and then I won't be able to fall back asleep. And this happened on Wednesday, and I fell asleep at like 10 after 10 cuz I'd stayed up all night. But then I woke up again around 1, which was kind of surprising. I was like, shit. Because I knew, like, normally if I wake up at 1 after falling asleep really early, because I looked at my phone to see the time and it was 1, like, on the dot, like, it was 1 o'clock. And I looked and I was like, fuck, I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm going to try, but I don't think I'm going to fall asleep. But then I fell asleep in like 5 minutes.
That's very good.
So I got very lucky, but then I kept waking up throughout the night because I think I'm starting to develop my dad and my grandpa's sleep pattern now, because they cannot sleep through the night, because they wake up like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, like a lot throughout the night. So I think I'm starting to develop that, but I'm also able to sleep in super late as well. Whereas they can't. They both wake up at like 6:30 every morning. So like even on like the weekends and everything, like, but yeah, I think I'm starting to develop that, but I'm able to kind of roll over and fall back asleep. I just wake up a fair bit. But yeah. Anyway, I woke up at like 1, and I think I woke up again at like 4 or something, and then at 6, and then at like 8, and then I think I finally woke up around like 9 or 10 or something like that. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, I'm a very kind of regimented, scheduled person. I don't like to kind of break the mold too often. So I don't like being gone for more than a few days. Like a weekend trip is perfect for me when you're gone like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But then like anything past that is it's kind of pushing it. 4 days is okay. 5 is kind of my max, like how it was on this most recent trip. But there was this one trip that me and my family went on in the summer of 2019, where we were gone. I think we were gone for a little over a week, like a week and a half or something like that. And we went to Montana for my aunt's wedding, and then we went to visit my other aunt, who on the other side of the family, who was like not far from there. So I went to visit her, and at this point it had already been like 3 days. I think we were only gone for a week, but I was around my family constantly. So I had like no alone time. So my brother, he was really getting on my nerves. And like every little thing he said, like it probably wasn't even that annoying, but at the time, just being around him and being fed up and homesick and everything, it was just like, shut up. He was just getting on my nerves really bad.
Funnily enough, I think that's the first time I'm hearing about your brother. Oh, maybe it's not.
This may be the first time I've brought up my brother on the podcast. It probably is.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to recall.
I don't think I brought him up before. I think this may be his podcast story debut.
Nice. What's he like?
Annoying. Normal little brother.
How old is he?
How old is he? I can never remember how old he is. I think he's 13.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in 2008. So yeah, probably 13. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds ish right. Quick maths.
I remember I think he turned 11 and I thought he was turning 10. I could never remember like my cousin's birthdays. I can't remember at all. Like I can't remember how old they are cuz my cousin Jack um he like I thought he was the same age as Gingy, but he's a year younger cuz I was thinking about it. I was like, "Shit, how old is Jack? I can't remember." I was like, "I think he's the same age as Gingy, but I can't remember." Um but apparently he's a year younger. According to him. What does he know? But no, I, th- but yeah, it's, I sort of remember easier because he's the cousin I talk to the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then, there's another cousin on that same side of the family, on my mom's side, that's the same age as me. We both graduated this year. I think she's 6 months younger than me, but we're technically like in the same graduating class. So we're the same age. So it's easy to remember that. I know her birthday's in June. I think it's June.
Mm-hmm.
June or July, one of the two. There's a lot of birthdays in my family that are in June and July, so it's hard to keep track of them all. But
Fair enough.
yeah, and then there's a couple other cousins on that side. I couldn't even guess ballpark. And there's another cousin that's the same age as Zach. I or no, he's a year younger than him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also he shares a birthday with my mom, so that's easy to remember.
Should be right.
He's the only birthday I remember for cousins on that side. No, one of two, and the other one I think the is the oldest one above me, cause I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm the fourth oldest cousin on that side of like great grandchildren. So
Damn, you
we're
got a
like
big family.
yeah we I think I may have mentioned it before, but it's my great grandma had um my great grandma had 6 kids. They all had one or two, maybe three, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
um, but they all had a few kids, and then for the most part, most of them had kids as well. So then I think there's how many are there? There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, because one of them just had a kid like a year ago. Um, so yeah, there's 9. There's 9 great grandchildren. There's one great grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking this weekend. We were like, or the I keep saying this weekend, but the a few weeks ago when we were all together, we were like, who's gonna have the next one? And then we joked, like being my brother, like the two youngest cousins,
Yeah.
not like the one who just turned 1,
Uh-huh.
but like the two, like my brother and the one that's younger than him,
Yeah.
and we were joking like, oh, it'll be him, it'll be one of them, and then we were like, well, while it could be possible, I doubt it. But I think my money is on Jack, maybe Jack, or the one that's the same age as me. I highly doubt it'll be me, but
I think it's gonna be
yeah,
you.
doubt it.
You're such a man candy, right?
Man candy.
Women can't get their hands off of you.
Yeah, that's why I'm 18 and never had a girlfriend.
You've never had a girlfriend?
Nope.
Damn. That's interesting.
Only lady I've been with is Pamela Henderson, baby.
Interesting.
That became such an inside joke between me and my friend Bobby. It became such an inside joke.
I think you've said it before. You've told the story.
Yeah.
You can go over it again.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just, if you're unaware, it means I jerk off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
You
means.
do the
And
forbidden thing.
And Pamela Anderson is a model, I think, or an actress or
I think
something
she's
like that.
an actress, right?
Something like that.
Isn't she in Baywatch?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
No, nice.
But yeah, so she. But yeah, that's the joke, that she has a hand persona and she is my girlfriend. That's the joke between me and Bobby. It's died down quite a bit as of late, but
It will live on forever.
during the spring it came up quite a bit.
What did
For
Pamela
no
or the joke?
The joke. Well,
Do I even want to know?
I don't think I want to know. I don't remember. I don't. It's not like I keep a diary of it.
You don't? Damn weird.
Man, you don't keep a diary of every time you whack it.
Whack it. It's not
You're
whack-a-mole.
Maybe not for you.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to
So
go and
segue
find
out of
those
that.
songs.
So to segue out of that,
Yeah.
what were we talking about before that? I think it was just, what was it? Oh yeah, it was like my side of the family. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I said that I don't. I said I'm happy that my family left. Oh, my grandparents left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
while it is nice like having like family over and seeing them, like at a point it's like, okay, you can go now. I wanna get back to my normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like I said, like my limit is like 5 6 days. Like I can do 5 days and not be like, ugh, I want to go home. But like on like the sixth day, it's like, yeah, I really want to go home. Because when I found out, like when I didn't know whether I was gonna go home on that Monday or Tuesday, I was like, ugh, I kind of want to, I kind of really want to go home today, just because I was like kind of getting to the point where it's like, I just want to go home. I want to be home. I want to get back into my schedule, into my normal schedule. But it wasn't too bad. But on the sixth day, I feel like if I had to stay there one more day, I would have been like, ugh, just get me home.
Do you have like that? Is it like OCD that you need everything in a schedule?
No, it's not an OCD thing. I think it's just kind of like a familiarity type of thing, where it's like I like things to be familiar, like be like being like in my own office chair, being on my own computer,
Yeah.
and just kind of being alone, being able to be alone for most of the day.
That sounds lonely, but I understand you.
Yeah, it was funny because one of my mom's cousins, my cousin Jack, is his mom, but she's I don't want to say overbearing, because that comes off as a, like, I don't know the right word, but the only word I can think of is like kind of
Protective?
yeah, I was gonna say overprotective, but protective's a better word. But she was like, have you talked to your mom at all since today? And I was like, no, because I had been gone at like 2-3 days at this point. And I was like, no, I haven't talked to her since I left. And she was like, what? And I was like, sometimes there's days I'm at home and I don't talk to her for I don't see her for 2-3 days.
Damn.
Which is very true, because we're all kind of in our own areas. Like I'm in my room, my brother's either downstairs in the family room playing his Xbox. My dad's in the living room, my mom's in her room. It's like we're all in our own separate areas when we're at home. And we cross paths every so often, but yeah, for the most part it's like we all stay to our own, and we're all very similar in that way, where we just do our own thing, and we don't really, like, I think they all get together because they have a certain shows that they all watch together, but yeah, I am for the most part always down in my room, and then I don't really cross paths with them all too often. Like every so often, my mom will come downstairs and we'll talk about something. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's like, yeah, it's just
Do you guys not eat with each
there's
other?
no. Like I said, we all eat in our own separate areas too. For a while, I think, for a while we did when we first moved into this place, but that was like 10 years, like 10, 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We did that for like a year, and then it just kind of devolved into us all eating in our own separate places. Because we used to all eat in the living room. Like, it was kind of weird because my parents, they would eat, like, my dad would sit in the recliner, my mom would sit on the couch, and they just, because they were worried that me and my brother were going to spill, we had to eat on the floor. So we just sat on the floor in front of the TV and just kind of looked up. And, like, we would always watch, like, the news or something. We'd watch the news because it'd be around, like, 6 o'clock. We'd sit up and we'd watch the news. And then we would, like, if there was, like, a show that we all watched together, we'd then watch that after the news. But yeah.
Do you not have a dining table?
No, we do. I don't know why we never used it, but well, we did for that like year. But then after that, we then uh just started eating in the living room for whatever reason. The TV's in the living room, not the kitchen, not in the dining room. TP. Come on.
You see, that's a bit different. We have to eat at the dining table with all with each other.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to take it upstairs.
Yeah, I get that.
And my parents were always scared that we're gonna like just never see each other, and we're just gonna get like forget about them. Which I see what they were
Yeah.
what they meant.
Yeah, I get I get where they're coming from. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I like the fact that we all eat together, but there are like whenever we have like company over and stuff like that, we then all eat at the dining room table, but that's like the rarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my grandparents, like whenever they're in town and they stay with us, we'll then eat at the dining room table, but that is like 2 or 3 times a year maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, every family has the different like, I don't know what you really call it.
Like I don't even know, like
Traditions, no,
customs.
yeah,
Customs.
yeah, more like that.
Yeah. Because we talked about this in my psychology class last year, where where we went around the room and we talked about like everyone had to think of something that was not seen as normal but is seen as normal in their household. And that was mine, how we all eat in, or no, mine was that my parents sleep in separate beds. That was it. Um, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, then my psychology teacher, he was like, "Man, that'd be the dream." He was like, "I wish me and my wife slept in separate beds."
It's as pressing as that sounds. I understand him.
I get it. Yeah, it'll be unfortunate when I have to share a bed. I might say, "My parents and my grandparents don't share beds. We're not sharing beds, lady."
That's yeah. I mean, depends on what kind of relationship you have with the person.
Yeah. Well, it comes up like every once in a while when like my family on my dad's side is together. Because it'll be brought up and like, well, I think it was brought up like once, but it'll be brought up every once in a while. But um my my aunt had said one time like my parents don't sleep in the same bed. It's kind of weird. And then my mom was like, well, me and I'm not gonna say my dad's name, but
Mm-hmm.
me and Trevor's dad,
Is that what you said? The
we
exact thing what she said? Yep.
yep, exactly that.
Yep.
Didn't say his name.
Mhm.
She said Trevor's dad.
Yeah.
But no, she's like me and I'm just gonna say his name because it feels weird not saying it. I'll bleep it later. But me and we don't sleep in the same bed. And she was like, "What?" And then she turned to her husband, my uncle, and she was like, "We're sleeping in separate beds, or we're not sleeping in separate beds. We're sleeping in the same bed." She was very adamant about that. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I do believe I have to go. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I get it. All right. Well, that's all for this episode of the Discussion Parade
It was
podcast.
it was a very short one, and I'm sorry I wasn't really entertaining. I'm kind of tired. Long weekend, but yeah. Thanks all for watching.
Yeah.
I was kind of depressed to see that the last episode had like the lowest views out of everyone, and I thought it was the best one that we did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the views don't really dictate how good an episode is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. We know it's the best one, even though only a handful of people know how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And now watch, this episode will get a ton of views, and we're like, this episode wasn't great. I think it was still decent, though. Anyway, this is meta.